we're live. Go ahead. Take it away.
Yeah, sure. So, hi everyone. Uh, Welcome to our first session of the Road to Metamorphosis 3. First session will be given by Shivani, who is integration engineer at Aave. Session will be on Aave 101 for developers. So this is developer centered work session. So let's see. Uh, Welcome, Shivani.
Hi.
Hi.
Um, so,
So,
I start?
yeah. Let's go. Stage is
Awesome.
yours now. Yep. I'll be
Sharing my
backstage
screen.
if you want anything.
Cool. Hi, I am Shivani, a developer, and I'll be leading this Aave 101. So Aave is a liquidity protocol where people with extra crypto assets can put their assets to use and earn a steady stream of yield on on their crypto assets, and the borrowers can get instant loans without having to wait for approvals and stuff. Um, Apart from these two, the other actors in this protocol are price feeds. We use Chainlink Oracle to provide the up-to-date prices for our asset pairs. Then we have collateral liquidators, which take care of the close the bad debt positions in the system, and then all the integrations that are built on top of us. As of now, we have about $15 billion worth of net worth locked in our version 1, version 2 safety module, our automated market making market, and then the Aave Polygon market. I'll go through now the main features. So we'll first talk about deposit, where Aave tokenizes all the deposit with A tokens, and it's one-to-one parity. So if you deposit $100 worth of DAI, what you get back is 100 A DAI, and the interest start accruing right away. So it's not like user have to claim their yields. As soon as you deposit, every second you'll see your balance increasing, and your A token balance will represent your principal plus the yield accrued till then. So how it looks like integration wise, what you do is just you can deposit on behalf of anyone or yourself. All you do is approve lending pool to pull funds from the depositor and just mention the asset you're depositing, amount, and on behalf of, if you on behalf of user will be the one who will receive the A tokens. So either it could be a contract that receives your A tokens or you yourself. Referral code is for third parties for integration and like have referral programs. For now, you can like give 0, or if you're making some integration and will use this functionality, you can use it. Referral code thing will be like it will be emitted in the events like the actual code that you use for your referral program. A quick note on this is lending pool. In lending pool, you can only put ERC20 tokens. So if you want to deposit native ETH, we have Beth Gateway separately for that, and you can use the Beth Gateway contract to deposit your ETH directly. Withdrawals from our liquidity pools pool is instant, so you don't have to wait for any cooldown period or anything. All you do is and no approvals needed, just call withdrawal from the account which holds A tokens. So lending pool will pull the A tokens back, burn them, and as much A tokens are burned, that much amount of collateral will be released to the person withdrawing. That can be done to anyone. So you can withdraw from your actual account to like let's say you hold your A tokens in your hot wallet, you can, and you want to withdraw your actual collateral in your cold wallet. So you can just specify that address amount could be specified -1 if you want to just withdraw all the liquidity that can be withdrawn for your account, or just specify a specific amount. Now, coming to borrows, protocol offers two types of borrows. It could be your own collateral that is deposited. We'll go over the simple case where you deposit your own assets and you can borrow on behalf of the collateral. Automatically, whenever you deposit, the collateral is enabled to be used as collateral if it is supported by this protocol. So, like for example, USDT is not a valid collateral, like because of its risk involved. USDT is not enabled as collateral, but if you deposit DAI, it is directly used as collateral. So your loan could be backed by just a single asset that you've deposited in the liquidity pool, or it could be backed by multiple assets. And on behalf, so borrowed amount is just instantaneous, and the protocol tokenizes these borrows. So what you'll get is a tokenized debt along with the asset that you asked for. So the health of the Aave protocol depends on the health factor, like the proportion of collateral versus borrowed. So, and that's what health factor signifies, because all borrows on our liquidity pools are backed by over collateralized underlying assets. So if your position falls below the health factor of 1, then your collateral can be liquidated, and that's where the liquidators come in play. So anyone can repay your debt, close the position, and in return get some collateral on discounted rates. So what a liquidator would get would be in like all the collateral that covers the debt they just repaid. So the whole principal plus a bonus that is associated with that collateral type. Shut up, Biscuit. So for volatile assets, you have to make sure that, or not make sure, it is advisable to have your health factor above 2, but 1 is like the actual limit where liquidations happen. Integration wise, it looks very straightforward. You just have to mention the asset you want to borrow. Again, all these borrows are ERC20. If you want to do a direct native currency borrow, that is ETH in case of Ethereum, or Matic in case of Polygon, you have to do via Beth gateway, our gateway contract. Interest mode. So Aave allows both stable as well as variable rate interest. Variable rate interest is like changing continuously every second based on, not every second, but with every block based on the market's utilization rate and the liquidity rate. Whereas stable rate mode is generally higher interest rate, but it stays stable. So you can specify your interest rate mode over here, 1 for stable and 2 for variable. Referral code is similarly used like in deposit. And again, this message that's under, so you can borrow on behalf of someone else. And we'll talk more about this in next section where I talk about credit delegation. So anyway, these loans will be instant, and if you change your mind later to like change your rate mode, so that can be done without like clearing the debt position. So like even you can just like easily change the rate mode without having to repay the debt and then open a new debt position. Again, just specify the asset and the rate mode that you want to change it to. Repays can be done by anyone. Before repaying, you'll have to approve lending pool for the debt asset that you're repaying. Again, since it can be paid by anyone, you can pay on behalf of someone else. Specify the address of the asset you're paying and just the interest rate mode. So if you're closing stable debt position, you have to specify the corresponding rate. So coming to credit delegation. So this is a very unique and new feature of Aave, which allows improved third-party entities or contracts to borrow assets using your collateral. So this way you can share your credit limit with others. Repayments in this case can be enforced on chain by some other contract, or it could be an off-chain process. So maybe you have an agreement with someone like proper KYC bank or something, where bank gives you, how it happens in case of credit cards, gives you a credit limit, and they have their own way of making sure that you repay the credit card debt. Yes. So here, how it looks like integration wise is, for some creditor, they will just deposit their assets and they'll receive the 8 tokens. They'll be the one accruing interest or yield on those collateral, but then they can just approve either for stable debt or variable debt, depending on what they are trying to approve. Take the borrower address and just for that particular debt. So let's say like you're approving a borrower for stable DAI debt. So you'll use the stable DAI debt token address here and just approve the credit delegation to that person. You can specify the exact amount that person can withdraw. Again, the debt will keep accruing interest to the creditor, and here the debtor is off the hook. Like not at least when it comes to our protocol, borrower has no obligations to like return. They can repay, since repayment can be done by anyone, so they can clear the debt, but it's up to creditor how they want to enforce the repayments. Borrower in this case looks the same, just over here on behalf of address will be the address of creditor who approved delegation to this borrower. And rest says same. Interest rate has to be same for which we approved credit delegation in previous step. And again, as we said, repay is going to be straightforward towards, so repayment will be for the delegator address. So that's the one so here on behalf is the address of the creditor who transferred or shared their credit limit with others. Ooh, flash loan. This is again a really cool feature of Aave, first introduced by Aave in the V1. These are basically uncollateralized loan with a caveat that they have to be paid at the end of the same transaction. So you have basically entire liquidity available in the pool to do whatever with for just one single transaction. And then you can use that liquidity for whatever arbitrary amount of codes. We have flash loan guides on our developer documentation, but here I'll share some use cases of it. Is like migrating liquidity between protocols. So this is interesting. Like think of it when you want to just like change from one protocol to another. You like instead of like going through multiple transactions of like unwinding your collateralized debt position, you can take flash loan, transfer it there, and then close the positions. Decentralized exchange arbitrage. This is another thing which brings power to the player, where let's say two dexes have like just barely 60 cents difference, but so 60 cents difference is not that enough to like make use of that arbitrage opportunities, but when done at like level of like millions of dollars, just flash loan from the liquidity pool, that can be like really profitable. Liquidations is another use case. As we talked in Aave, the health factor, when the health factor falls, anyone can liquidate the bad debt position. But in that case, the liquidator has to first repay the debt to get the collateral, like the principal plus the bonus collateral. Now, obviously, that collateral is enough to cover the debt you just paid, but you still need that upfront capital to repay that debt. That can come from flash loans. We have a swap of 8 tokens to repay debt using collateral and many more. Here we look into an example. So this is how, since all interactions in Aave protocol is basically happening through lending pool, we're going to call lending pool dot flash loan. Receiver address over here will be the address of the contract that will be receiving the flash loan funds. Assets. Now, version 2 of Aave allow batch flash loans. What does that mean? You can, it's not necessary, like you have to, if you want like multiple assets to be flash loan in single transaction, you don't have to do multiple calls. In just one single flash loan transaction, you can get DAI as well as USDT as well as whatever you want. Amounts, again, is an array corresponding to the assets, 1 to 1. Modes. This is also a new feature from version 1 to 2, where at the end of the flash loan, the user has the option to open a debt position or pay back the flash loan with some fee. So if you don't want to, if you want to just use it like a normal flash loan and don't want to open a new debt position, you can just put 0 over here. Otherwise, you can like specify at the end of this transaction, open a flash loan here. On behalf of will be the address calling. Params, here is this, it could be arbitrary encoded parameters that will be passed by the lending pool to your execution method, which we'll discuss shortly. Now, another thing I want to point out is this flash loan method can be called either via a contract, like you see in this example, or it can be called directly from Web3, but the receiver address will be the address of a contract where the funds will be received, and you'll do your whatever, like custom code. So this is how it looks. So execute operation. This is the callback method that lending pool calls after transferring the funds or after going through the flash loan, like requested. So by the time the control of the contract execution comes to this method, you already have the flash loan that you requested for, and you can just do whatever arbitrary amount, like you could swap, you could liquidate, whatever you want to do. The only necessity that you have to make sure is you approve the assets, approve for those assets lending pool. Approve lending pool to spend those assets. So that like lending pool can pull back the asset that you just flash loan along with the fee. I think there is 0.09% fee for flash loans. So which is very less, and yeah, so you have to approve lending pool for the amount owed, and lending pool will automatically pull it, but if you don't approve it, then the transaction will fail. So that's important. Now coming to governance, the thing that makes this entire Aave system decentralized. So Aave and stake Aave token holders. Stake Aave is the Aave stake in the safety module, which we'll talk soon. They have both vote as well as proposed rights. So what does governance actually do is like it controls the protocol upgrades or new assets that are listed on Aave markets, or even changing the risk parameters of the market, or just if we want to even upgrade the whole governance system itself, that all can be done via the governance. So the protocol is completely decentralized. The Genesis team has no control over it, and people who are users who hold Aave and stake Aave are the actual like players here. Although they can choose to delegate one or both of their governance power to the user to some other address. So how it looks like is just someone who wants who okay. So for voting there is no threshold, but proposing is the for proposal you need to have a minimum threshold. So once someone has enough proposition power, either via delegation or by just being the holder of our stake of a token, they can actually propose in the governance contract. We have two types of time lock, short as well as long. Short allows protocol updates, new asset listings, and stuff like that. But if we want to update the governance module itself, the governance of the protocol itself, then it goes to a long time lock. After the time lock is done, uh, depending on what was the voting outcome, the proposal is executed and boom. So just to give a summary of it, the process is like the people off chain do a submission of our request to community or our improvement protocol, where they have the option to like get community's feedback, talk to the developers and stuff. And then once they have the feedback of or like incorporated the feedback, they can actually go ahead and like create an online proposal. The voting happens all online, and once the voting period is over, it's queued and executed. You can find again our guides, technical guides, as well as just the risk guides on the governance docs here. Here's a cool like example set by the CurveDAO people, where they wanted Curve token to be listed in Aave market. So they first submitted the use case of the token and why it should be listed, and then they went on Twitter asking people to delegate to an address held by their DAO or someone in the team. And they've then like this is how you submit do delegation integration. You just have to use Aave token, or it could be stake Aave token here. So both can have this option to delegate the address of the the person you want to delegate to, and then this thing delegates both the power, vote as well as proposition. But you can also do delegate by type. Details are available on the docs. So yeah, you can delegate by type and just specify whether you want to just do one, voting or proposing. Voting is again on chain, happens in the Aave governance v2 contract. All you need to know is the proposal ID that you want to vote for, and then your support, whether you're voting for or against it. Yeah, so this is how the whole process for governance happens. Now, next up is staking. This is again, I think, is a very cool feature because all Aave markets are covered in the case of hacks by the safety modules. It's a win-win situation where people who hold Aave or even Aave ETH BPT. So staking module right now allows two tokens, Aave or Aave ETH balancer pool tokens. So these people can put their assets, take their assets, and earn rewards from the safety modules in terms of Aave. So it's like they're earning, but in case of like hacks or some unforeseeable circumstance where liquidity is lost or something, the funds of the liquidity providers are covered up to 30%, and the staker's value, the amount that is staked in the safety module, up to 30% of it can be used to cover the disaster. Of course, this whole process and what is taken as the disaster to be covered and not goes through the governance. Staking wise, it looks pretty straightforward. You get the token that you want to stake. You approve lending pool for the amount you want to stake, and then just stake. Rewards can be claimed whenever you like from the staking module, but oops, But for the withdrawals, there is a cooldown period. I think currently right now it's 10 days. Uh, so you can't withdraw your or unstake your stakes from the safety module instantaneously. And you have to first initiate a cooldown period. At the end of the cooldown period, you will be eligible to redeem your tokens back. And if you don't redeem in that period, the period after, like when you're eligible to redeem it, if you don't redeem it then you have to start the cooldown period again. So that's a little Aave economics going on there. I would like to talk about a little about our Avengers Family. This curve finance, which uses DAI and which has a Aave liquidity pool. DeFi Saver have flash loans for automations. Furu Combo app is some really cool thing. Like when flash loans were launched, we thought it would be just something only developers could use, but this app lets even others like lets you take advantage of flash loan via GUI. Yeah, Yarn Finance has a link tokens. Havegochi, yeah, these are real cool where along with being an NFT and collecting variables, your NFT also manages a escrow contract which has funds deposited in our liquidity pool. So you're like earning interest on these NFTs as you also play the game, which is, I think, pretty cool. There are a lot more integrations that I can't talk about right now, but okay, yeah, these are them, and like I want to thank them all. Do check out our development environment and like all our protocol details, which are available. Like our protocol source code is available on Protocol V2 repo. It's all open source. You can install npm package to import interfaces of the contract. We have markets deployed on Common as well as Mumbai testnets. And we have a nice client library, protocol.js, which allows people which helps in data formatting and easy integration. Here are the resources, and I guess I will now take questions.
Yes, Shivani, that was a great session. I also learned a lot, like flash loans. What are the flash loans? So about that, uh, there are a few questions like how interest rate is fixed for the loans. Can
So
you
in
explain?
case, yeah, so in case of like stable interest rates, based on their utilization ratio and the risk parameter associated with that asset, it's just high interest rates are calculated. Like the exact formula is not something on top of my head, but it's calculated based on the utilization rate. And there is readjustment option, or like what's the right way of saying, like if the market condition changes drastically, the loan terms or the debt terms can be readjusted to like higher or different interest rate without having to close the debt position. So basically it's a function of utilization rate and the available liquidity.
Okay, okay. There was one question like, um, what is difference between 100 die and 100 A die?
100 DAI is the token, ERC20 token
Yeah.
from Maker, and 100 ADAI is the accruing interest. So the holder of ADAI is the one who will be able to withdraw the collateral back. So if you're holding DAI, the DAI is not going to change from 100 to 100.1, 100.2, or so on. It's not accruing any interest. Whereas ADAI will be accruing interest. So your balance of ADAI keeps changing with every block, irrespective of whether you are depositing more or like doing anything. It changes based on the market conditions.
Okay.
And yeah, holder of ADAI can
So,
get collateral.
so I transfer someone ADI from my wallet, so they can get the interest. I won't get that interest, right?
Right. So there is a liquidity mining program, which is for rewards. So rewards will still stay with the person. Rewards are accrued by the person who is holding them. So, okay, in this case, let's say you have 100 ADI till 1st September. So till 1st September, you accrue the rewards. And after that, the person to whom you have transferred your ADI, they will accrue rewards. But interest is always accrued like along with like by the ADI holder. So yes, if you've transferred 100 ADI to someone else, they will be the one able to withdraw.
Okay. Someone was asking, will NFTs will be accepted as collateral? That was
Maybe we'll wait and find out. I like as I said, protocol is entirely decentralized, and like it really in the hands of the community
yeah.
what
So
cool new thing they came up with.
if he wants to do that, like he can submit a proposal
Yeah,
and get the support of the community to do this, and this
exactly.
is
He
the
can
beauty
apply.
of decentralization.
Right. I forgot to mention about Aave grants now. We still have our grants program running till November, and so if a developer is interested in like getting grants, please submit your proposals, and yeah.
Yeah, sure. That's a good thing for developers. Uh, so, can anyone be liquidator if they can repay the debt and claim the collateral?
Yes, so anyone whose health factor is below 1, their position can be liquidated. So if your collateral is like enough to cover your debt, no, your position won't be liquidated by anyone. But if it is below 1, anyone can just pay the debt and liquidate you. And for even paying the debt, you can use flash loan. Like you don't really need upfront capital.
Okay. So, if borrower does not uh, pay re- does not repay, then what will happen? Like borrower does not repay.
So, as I said, all the debt positions in Aave are over collateralized. Let's say borrower doesn't repay for a very long time, or just borrower is not repaying and the liquidity in the protocol is going low, like for available to borrow, have new borrows. Then what will happen? The interest rate, first the variable interest rate will change, and then the stable as well will change to be much higher, which will incentivize borrowers to actually repay. But let's say even then the borrower doesn't repay, and they're just debt along with the interest goes so beyond that their health factor might just be in a vulnerable position. And in that case, someone can just repay the debt on behalf of that person and claim their collateral.
So till you have like good health factor, yeah, that can be for there forever, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So debt is yours till the time you have good health factor.
Okay. Uh, what will happen in case of default? So let's see.
Yeah, so here default doesn't like matter that much because we have over collateralized debt positions, right? So if you have submitted collateral worth of $150, you are only able to get $100 or $80 worth of debt. So it's not exactly default. It's just liquidity would go low if the person is not paying debt for a very long time, which would increase the interest rate. So we have this economic game theory model, which would just incentivize people to either clear their debt positions or like, yeah, if there is like market conditions suggested.
Okay. And one last question from the viewers. How long does it take to get loan confirmed?
Single transaction. So
Okay.
it's just as soon as 15 seconds if your transaction is like included next.
Okay. I think that's all the questions from the viewers. I have one question for you. Like, how you said like there Aave is on Matic, on Polygon and Ethereum. So protocols liquidity is distributed and on those both protocols, or like it is combined or something like that.
Wait. You're talking about the total liquidity locked? Well,
Yeah,
I'm confused. Yeah,
yeah,
so
like
the total locked value that I shared from DeFi Pulse, I think they are taking in account from all markets, including Polygon. And
okay.
when we like help Polygon to launch a new Aave market on Polygon, like in most cases, it's often which is seen is like we see new users coming up. Like often the users we see on the Polygon side are like people like even investing less than $1,000, where like Ethereum has become so expensive that mostly the big players are like now putting their money in there. So what we saw in the Polygon market was a whole new like group of users just got onboarded to the decentralized finance system.
Yeah, so like because of gas fees, like
Exactly.
they can use this. Like you don't have to pay like 40 or $60 to
Exactly.
do one transaction. So
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's cool. I think these are the like all the questions. Uh, yeah. Where can people find you on like?
So, um, please join our Discord channels. I can share the links to this presentation, which has links, or somewhere like maybe on the Discord I can leave. I am actually in the Discord channel server of
Yeah,
this metamorphosis
yeah.
decentral hacks. Yeah.
I was going to announce it afterwards.
Or
Like,
Twitter. Or
yeah,
Twitter.
sure.
Yes.
So you will be on Decentral Hacks Discord to
Yes.
like help developers and like judge the projects, right? Uh,
Right.
for the submissions.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, I think these are the questions. So we should wrap it up. What do you say?
Alrighty.
Yeah, that
Yep.
should be it. Thank you so much, Shivani, for
Thank you so
coming in.
much.
Thank you so much,
Thank you so
Nikhil,
much for
for
having
taking
me.
it. Yeah,
Sure.
and everybody, like Nikhil said, Shivani's mentor on our Discord as well. You can reach out to her there. We'll be announcing that on Discord soon. And we can't wait to see you for the next session. See you guys. Thank you.
Alrighty. See ya.
Yeah. Yeah.